By watching this video you will not only feel the hidden strength of homeless women, but also learn valuable lessons from Stoic philosophy. How to overcome adversity, maintain dignity, and stay true to yourself despite all challenges. She sat on the sidewalk invisible. Not because people couldn't see her, but because they chose not to. A woman without a home, without polished clothes, without a title that made the world pause. Day after day, strangers brushed past her like she was part of the pavement. Some glanced at her with pity. Most didn't look at all. Society had written a story about her, and in that story she didn't matter. But what they didn't know was the truth. Inside her heart lived more strength than many who wore suits and walked proudly down the street. Inside her mind were dreams that the world tried to crush but never fully destroyed. Inside her spirit burned a quiet dignity that no cold stare could erase. The Stoics taught a lesson she lived every day. Your worth is not written by the world's opinion. Your value is carved by your own hands, your own soul. She was not the labels they gave her. She was not the silence they offered her. She was human. She was enough. And if the world refused to see her, she would see herself. Because the greatest freedom is this: to know that no one else has the power to define you. You do. He stood at the corner, hand outstretched, asking for nothing more than a second chance. Most people didn't stop. Some rolled their windows up tighter, clutching their belongings as if he was a threat instead of a man who had once had a home, a family, and dreams just like theirs. In the eyes of society, poverty became a crime. Instead of reaching out, people judged. Instead of listening, they turned away. But hardship is not a character flaw. Falling doesn't mean you chose to fall. The Stoics knew this truth well. We cannot control the cruelty or indifference of the world. But we can control ourselves. We can choose compassion over judgment. We can choose fairness over fear. Because strength is not found in towering over others. True strength is bending down, offering a hand and saying, "I see you. I have not forgotten your humanity." The measure of a person is not how they treat the powerful. It is how they treat those who can give them nothing in return. Today the world may choose indifference. But you can choose something better. You can choose to be the one light that cuts through the darkness. You can choose to see, to hear, to help. And in doing so you will not only lift another, you will rise yourself. Magda had every reason to give up. War had stolen her home. Hunger gnawed at her nights. Loss followed her like a shadow she could never outrun. But Magda did not break. She built. With trembling hands she sewed scraps of cloth into beautiful tapestries. With a voice cracked from sorrow, she sang lullabies to children who no longer had mothers. With a heart battered by grief, she poured love into every broken soul she touched. The world around her crumbled. Yet inside her, something unshakable grew. The Stoics taught that external chaos cannot stain the soul of one who lives with virtue and love. Magda lived this truth with every breath. Her creativity became rebellion. Her kindness became resistance. They could take her comfort. They could take her safety. But they could not touch the brilliance of a spirit rooted in love. Magda's life was a quiet revolution, a reminder that the strongest walls are not built of stone but of character. And the purest victory is not survival, but the refusal to let hatred win. Circumstances may shape the body, but only you decide the shape of your soul. Choose to create. Choose to love. Choose to be unbreakable. Carola had every scar a heart could carry. Betrayal. Abandonment. Words that wounded deeper than any blade. There were days when even the sunlight felt heavy, when trusting anyone seemed like madness. Yet somehow she kept believing. She gave smiles when none were returned. She offered kindness even to those who had once broken her. She loved, not because the world proved it deserved her love, but because she refused to let it take that power from her. The Stoics spoke of an invincible power within. No one can steal your ability to love unless you hand it over. Carola never handed hers over. Not once. Pain visited her, yes. It bent her, bruised her. But it never owned her. Love was her rebellion. Kindness was her armor. She knew the easy road was to grow bitter, to close her heart tight and never open it again. But she also knew something greater, that protecting your heart by locking it away is not protection at all. It is surrender. And Carola did not surrender. Her strength was not loud. It didn't need to be. It lived in the small, brave acts of choosing love again, and again, and again. True strength is not how much you can endure. It's how deeply you can still love after everything tried to stop you. And Carola loved. She still loves. And so can you. Anna didn't always see the storm coming. At first, she lived wide open, trusting, hoping, believing the world would meet her innocence with kindness. But life had sharper lessons to teach. Betrayal. loss, disappointment. The kind of blows that make you question everything you thought was safe. Yet Anna did not become hard. She became wise. She learned to read the winds before the clouds gathered. She learned to stand firm before the ground began to shake. She did not wait to be broken. She prepared herself to bend, to endure, to rise. The Stoics taught, life will not shield you from hardship, but it can shape you, if you let it. Anna let it. She became her own guardian, her own sanctuary. Alert but not afraid. Strong but never cruel. She understood a deep truth. Challenges are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to sharpen your spirit, to strengthen your courage, to refine your soul. Every hardship became a forge. Every test a tool. She didn't wish for an easier path. She built stronger legs to walk it. The storms still came. But Anna was no longer a victim of them. She was a force within them. And so can you be. Prepare your mind. Strengthen your heart. Let life shape you, not shatter you. Gabriella knew what it felt like to stand alone. The stares. The whispered judgments. The cold shoulders from those who feared what they didn't understand. Everywhere she turned, the message was clear. Be someone else. Be smaller. Be quieter. But Gabriella refused. She wore her truth like armor, not to provoke but to exist. Not to fight but to breathe freely in a world that wanted her to hold her breath. The Stoics taught that the highest act of courage is to live in harmony with your true nature. Gabriella lived that lesson every single day. She didn't bend to fit into spaces too small for her spirit. She didn't apologize for the way her heart was wired, the way her soul sang. They called her defiant. She was simply honest. The world tried to convince her that hiding was safer. But Gabriella knew, safety bought at the price of your soul is no safety at all. So she stood, not with anger but with certainty. Not to be celebrated but to be free. True honor is not found in being accepted by others. It is found in accepting yourself completely. Gabriella chose her nature over their approval. Her spirit over their comfort. And in doing so she didn't just survive. She lived. Fully. Freely. Unapologetically. And so can you. Rosa never needed much. A cracked coffee cup. A small window where the morning light touched the floor just right. The laughter of children playing far down the street. While others chased grand victories, Rosa found her peace in the quiet, ordinary moments that most rushed past. She had known chaos. She had lived through storms that tore at everything she thought permanent. But somewhere along the way she learned a simple truth. Peace does not live in the world outside you. It is built, carefully, patiently, within. The Stoics taught that true tranquility comes not from changing your surroundings, but from mastering your spirit. Rosa lived this truth like a gentle song few could hear, but all could feel. She didn't wait for life to be perfect to be content. She didn't demand that the world behave before she allowed herself to breathe. She breathed anyway. And in that breath was freedom. Because real peace isn't the absence of trouble. It's the presence of strength. Strength to sit with discomfort. Strength to find beauty in the overlooked. Strength to let go of everything you cannot control, and anchor yourself to what you can. Rosa didn't escape the storms. She carried her calm into them. And you can too. Build your peace where you are. Let it bloom inside you, unshaken, unbreakable. The streets spoke louder than any voice could. Graffiti on broken walls. Shouts echoing through alleys. Silent faces hardened by years of being unseen, unheard, betrayed. At first glance it was easy to mistake it all for rage. Easy to point fingers. Easy to judge. But if you listened closer, really listened, you would hear something else. Pain. The kind born not from weakness, but from wounds that never had the chance to heal. From promises broken again and again. From the weight of injustice carried too long, too alone. The Stoics taught a vital lesson. Judge less. Understand more. It's easy to condemn anger. It's harder, and braver, to ask what suffering built it. The streets didn't erupt from nowhere. They were shaped by hands that withheld compassion, by systems that turned backs instead of opening doors. When you see anger, look deeper. Beneath it, you will find stories of survival. You will find hearts that refuse to go numb. You will find humanity fighting not to be erased. Compassion does not excuse injustice, but it transforms how we respond to it. The world doesn't need more critics. It needs more listeners, more healers, more people willing to see the wound behind the wall. Choose to understand. Choose to see with your heart, not just your eyes. That is where true change begins. The streets are filled with stories, stories of loss, of struggle, of dreams that flickered out long before they could burn bright. Yet, in the midst of it all, there is something else. A quiet strength. A resilience born not from comfort, but from the ability to endure the hardest of storms. Some people see the homeless as the forgotten ones. But those who have lived it, they see the truth. Survival is an act of courage. Every day they stand up, even when the world has knocked them down again and again. The Stoics taught us that suffering is not a punishment, but an opportunity. An opportunity to grow, to find deeper strength, to refine our character. In the eyes of those who have nothing you might see pain, but you will also see dignity. You will see kindness in the way they share what little they have. You will see courage in the way they face each day without giving in to despair. These stories are not just about survival. They are about choosing to rise even when the world would rather you fall. Pain can break us, but it can also shape us into something stronger, more compassionate, more human. The greatest victory is not in avoiding suffering. It's in choosing to make suffering the soil in which our humanity grows. And from that soil, something beautiful can bloom, dignity, grace, and a kindness that knows no bounds. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If this story has inspired you, don't forget to leave a comment to share your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos about powerful life philosophies and valuable lessons. Let's grow and change ourselves together.